Last week I asked you guys on Instagram and Twitter if you have used Paperlike or other screen protector on your iPad. Thank you so much for sharing with me your experience. This week's video is actually a conversation about Paperlike and screen protectors in general. I will share my impressions too, as I use Procreate daily in my work, and by the end of the video I will share all the great feedback I got from you guys. Let me know below if you use Paperlike or any other screen protector and your experience. I'm very curious what you think. If after watching the video you want to grab a Paperlike for yourself, I will leave the link to it in the video description. I've been using Paperlike on and off for a while, and I want to share both my and your observations, so it's a kind of balanced opinion. If you wonder how Paperlike screen protector feels like, the pros and cons, if it affects the color too much, or how does it affect quality of work for someone like me that uses the iPad every single day, then I made this video for you. I have a video coming next week about my new iPad, which one I bought and why, but in this one you will see that I only installed and used Paperlike on my old iPad, and you will see why. This video is not sponsored by Paperlike. The first thing you notice when you get your Paperlike is that it's super well packed and well thought through. It has all the tools you need to install the protector already included in the pack, and there's a pretty good video that explains very well how to install it, as there are some steps you need to follow. This is very important. Paperlike reminds you about watching the instruction video, putting the reminder everywhere, which I think is great. So please watch the video about how to install it. My husband installed this one in his own way without following the instructions, and that is why it has bubbles and dust. For this video he installed a brand new one on my old iPad, so you guys can see it. For sure, the more you use it, more minor scratches and signs of use will appear. I use it a lot, and when I draw, I put a lot of pressure on the pencil and iPad screen. Anyway, let's start with the pros about Paperlike. The first thing I notice after the application is the sound it has when you draw, which is great. When drawing on my other iPad, the sound is just normal iPad glass. Paperlike also feels nice to the touch. I don't know how you guys illustrate, but sometimes when you're working on the iPad for a full day, the iPad temperature rises and your hands can get a bit sweaty, which is something that Paperlike might help with. You can also use a drawing glove, but I personally don't like them. Another pro is related with the surface reflection. I love the iPad because it's portable. It's not that relevant right now with all that's going around, but normally I would go to a coffee house to work, maybe somewhere outdoors or to a park. So my favorite thing about Paperlike is how it reduces reflection, and it's mainly because it has a matte surface. You can see when I compare it with my other iPad without any screen protector what a big difference it makes. Another pro I can think of is more obvious but equally important, as it protects your iPad screen from scratches. Now, on the negative side, I would say that you will have the feeling that the tip of your Apple Pencil wears off faster. Many of you that shared your opinion said that this was a concern for you, and it's pretty understandable, as matte, slightly textured surface creates more friction with the pencil when you draw. You also mentioned that the texture will be slowly wearing off, but I believe it's pretty normal for the same reason. For me personally, the biggest con are the bubbles, which in my case are almost inevitable. Those of course come with any screen protector, not only Paperlike. This time the bubbly application wasn't my fault, but when I installed it myself before, I had some tiny bubbles as well. They make my experience when drawing a bit worse, so I'm always trying to avoid them, pretty much always failing at it. Another question you asked me is, does the matte layer affect the colors? In my opinion, not at all. I'm not sure if it will be possible to see in the video, but side by side, the iPad on the left does not have Paperlike and the one on the right does. And from where I'm standing, the colors look the same, maybe just a tiny bit less vibrant. Now let's go with your opinions, but before that, remember I just released many new Procreate brushes and color palettes that I use for my art. They're available in my shop. In case you're interested, I will leave all the links below. So I received almost 1000 votes from you. Most of you said that you didn't use Paperlike or any protector like it. But from the responses I got from those of you who use it, the feedback is extremely positive. Some of you found it a bit too expensive, and that's completely understandable, although it's still cheaper than a new iPad screen. Some of you noticed the reduced glare and that the tip of the Apple Pen doesn't slide so much. Some of you said that are enjoying the illustration process so much more, and that's really good. On the negative side, a lot of you reported that the surface scratched really fast, mostly when you use a lot of pressure, and that the tip of the pencil seems to wear off quicker. In general, after reading all your comments, I have to say and agree with most of you that the pros totally outweigh the cons. In my opinion, Paperlike is a perfect solution for those of you who are just starting working digitally on iPad. I hear all the time someone saying that drawing on a glass surface is nothing like drawing on a nice textured paper, that it feels odd and it's hard to get used to when switching from traditional to digital art. And here I think Paperlike is a great option to consider, as it reduces the cold glass touch of the screen, making the whole experience nicer. I also think it will work great for those of you who like using textures in your work, appreciate the traditional feeling and sound when drawing on paper, or just feel discouraged by the smooth, shiny surface of the iPad. Let me know below in the comments what you think, which screen protector do you use, if you use one, and I see you in the next video. Bye!